This inquest must have taken over your lives. Listening to all of that evidence again must have been particularly tough.
Yeah, very. It's been really hard. You know, a lot of the evidence from Owen's story we already knew, but listening to the other families was just heartbreaking, heartbreaking. And listening to the evidence that was put forward, it was just unbelievable, unbelievable.
And you very purposely talked about every member of the family that you'd lost. You wanted to make them real.
Yeah, yeah. I just wanted to tell the world just how fantastic my brother, my dad and my eldest son were. And I just wanted to read their life story, and I made a positive thing, and I read it in court. There was lots of tears.
No, you did incredibly
and
well.
I wanted to do it,
So yesterday it was revealed the response by the police on that day was at best shambolic and at worst cowardly. What did you make, as a family, what do you make of this verdict? I mean, does this give you any sort of closure?
A little, yes. Obviously, we would have liked a neglect verdict, but because it was an inquest, the coroner has a control that he has to do, and neglect was the most, you know, he could do. He had he looked at all the evidence, and neglect is very different in a coroner's inquest as it is in how we perceive neglect. Right. So we were happy with neglect, but what it does do then is sort of bring all the evidence together to look at everything else as well, and to... I
think we were all stunned by the reaction, how long it took for there to be any sort of a reaction at all. Yeah. Owen, are you all right to go back to that day? I really want you to decide here how far we go and what we do.
Yeah, I mean, obviously it's quite nervous to talk about things like that, and it's quite personal, but... yeah.
Well, listen, I'll ask the question.
I'll do my best.
And I'll ask the question. You stop if you want, OK? Let's make it general. If I say, what do you remember of that day?
As long as... I mean, I imagine that everyone else was the same, that they were you're just relaxing, you're chilling by the swimming pool or in the sun.
Because you'd finished your GCSEs, hadn't you? This was a lad's holiday. Yeah,
it was me, my uncle, my granddad and my brother. It was meant to celebrate me just finishing year 11 and just doing my GCSE exams.
You were only 16?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Just kind of 16.
Yeah.
And the idea was I was going to, the day after I'd got back, was going to be my prom.
Oh, gosh.
So we came back a bit earlier.
And when did you become aware that this wasn't an ordinary day?
Well, the noise, it's not a noise that you'd recognise straight away, because you wouldn't know what gunfire sounds like. When you first hear it, I thought it was firecrackers or anything, because you wouldn't. That's not your first thought that you think when you're on holiday. You don't imagine what's going to happen. Yeah. That wouldn't be what you'd think. And then it was when people would start to run that you think, OK, what's happening here?
Well, you were in the pool area with your family when you heard the sounds that you've just described. Yeah. Lots of confusion.
Well, no, me and Joel were around the pool area, and then my Adrian and Grandad were somewhere else. And when it happened, right, a lot of people just ran off directly. Me and Joel went to get Aid and Grandad, and then we left as a four. But no, we didn't get any help from anyone. It was chaos.
So you got trapped in the indoor pool area.
Yeah, that's where we ended up.
And that's I think probably where we'll leave that part of the story.
Yeah.
When you got to the hospital, of course you're 16. I suppose very few people spoke English. You must have felt.
No.
I can't imagine what you've just witnessed, where you've just been and what you've been through, and then you've got to cope with that.
Yeah, I think the worst thing, one of the worst things was when I got back to the hospital. They just put me in a room and just left me there on my own. So it was just me in a room on my own, and I didn't know what to do. I don't know. I don't think anyone would know what to do. I was just there on my own, and then I heard English voices from down the corridor. So I got up and had a walk down, and that's where I met a few of the other survivors.
And this was Naomi Waring and Lucy, and they remained friends for life with you, and they were lucky enough not to lose anybody on that day, but had gone through the whole thing.
Yeah, they got injured themselves from explosions, and they had shrapnel. But no, there was only meant to be 2 rooms like 2 beds in a room, but we made them move an extra one in. So we stayed the night in one room.
So this horror is unfolding in your world. You're back in the UK.
Yeah. I wasn't allowed to go on the holiday. It was just for the boys.
It was just for the boys.
Just for the boys.
And
Jolly
the first
boys
you
80,
hear of it
so.
is a phone call from Owen.
Yeah.
And this is a phone call before you've even seen the news?
I hadn't even seen the news, nothing. And I'm sitting at home and I get an unknown number come on my phone and I just thought, oh, OK, answered it. And it was Owen screaming down the phone, telling me that they were all dead. And I just couldn't comprehend the conversation. And then he went, and I didn't know what to do. And then I started seeing messages come on my phone with people asking me, have you heard from the boys? What hotel are the boys in? And then he was starting to think, this is real. Yeah. This is real.
And you jumped on a plane.
Yeah.
There was the rescue plane that went out. You were on the plane on your own, weren't you?
No,
Just your friend?
My best friend came with me. We got in touch with Thompson's and I said, look, he's 16 and I need to get out there and I need to find them. So yeah, there was 4 rescue planes going out and we managed to get on one of them. There was only us on the plane. And we got there and we had 2 jobs to do, find Owen and find my dad and my brother.
And bring them all home.
Bring them all home, which we couldn't. We had to leave them there, which was hard. We had to leave them there and then wait for them. But they gave us the luggage.
Yeah.
That's what we brought back.
Don't upset yourself.
You mustn't.
Before the Bardo Museum attack, the Tunisian Foreign Commonwealth Office didn't consider the threat level in Tunisia to be worse than the 2nd highest level. So the advice stated that there's a high risk of terrorism, including kidnapping.
In tourist areas.
In tourist areas. After the Bardo Museum attack, but before the Sousse beach attack, the Foreign Office threat level remained the same, apart from the additional sentence that stated further attacks are possible.
Yeah.
When that holiday was booked, were you told any of that?
Nothing. I didn't book the holiday. My brother booked the holiday. They'd been there several times before, so it was quite natural to book the holiday. And, my dad and my brother were the most careful people. There was no way they would have gone there if they would have thought there was any risk.
So if they'd been given that advice at the point of booking the holiday, they wouldn't have gone?
They'd have changed it.
They wouldn't have gone fishing without a fishing licence.
Yeah, they were so, my dad never, he never had a speeding ticket. He was so, he was so by the book, and they would never have gone. They would never have put the boys at risk. Never.
And this is why the story is not over for you, because you are going to pursue this.
Yeah. Well, what we want to do, that there is going to be. We hope there's going to be a report on prevention of deaths. That's what we hope will come out now, and then from that we will look at whether we do take action, because obviously an inquest isn't going to change things, but a civil claim may, and. The industry has to change. The structure of the way holidays are booked, the way holidays are processed, there has to be a better structure, and tour operators have to take responsibility of security, not just safety, not just health and safety. They have to look at security and look at the hotels for that. I mean, they look at balconies, they look at pool depths and fire doors, but they don't check security.
Well, we've had a statement coming here from the Managing Director of Tour UK, Nick Longman. He said what happened on that tragic day on the 26th of June 2015 in Tunisia shocked and devastated all of us. On behalf of everyone at Tour UK, I would like to again extend our deepest sympathy. We're very sorry for the pain and loss of those affected that they have suffered. We've now heard the coroner's findings and his comments regarding the provision of security and visibility of travel advice. These are complex matters, and we've already taken steps to raise awareness of the FCO's Travel Aware campaign. So that's what they had to say.
I did want to say that you've started the Smile for Joel.
We have,
you can see your wristbands.
Yeah.
Something positive here to focus on. Raising money for victims of terrorism. Photo these all around the world. Different people have been taking photos because, of course, Joel loved travel. And loved the world.
He did, and he wanted to go and see the world and see as much as he could. And what we ask people to do is take the wristbands with them, and if they go to any sort of tourist attractions, take the bands, take a picture, and send it in to us.
It's nice to see that his name's travelling around the world and people are remembering him. And
absolutely.
And also for you, which shows the remarkable strength you have, is that you too, you've already been on a school trip, you said you will not stop travelling because of this.
No, I think I share the same belief as what my brother kind of instilled in me, is that there's too much in the world to not see it. And And so that's one thing that I definitely want to do, especially for them.
Yeah.
It'd be a shame not to... It'd be a shame to stop and not carry on, because...
They would want you to.
Yeah, they'd want us to.
They
so it's kind of travel the world, and if I can take my bands around and...
Of course.
Let him see things through me, that'd be nice.
And we're trying to get a few celebrities to wear them as well, so...
Well, we can't help with celebrities, but we've got them on.
Yeah, thank you. Well done, you guys. Very brave.